Today is the 19th of August. It is 1300 hours. And it's bright today. And my eyes are extra sensitive to light from eye surgery. Well, anyway. I haven't been watching anything about the DNC convention. I don't want to watch a bunch of guys and women ass kiss each other on video screens. I just think it's so stupid. What does that ultimately say? Well, unless you've been living on another planet, we're in the midst of a terrible pandemic. Matter of fact, I heard a congressperson say the worst virus, and it was an exact quote when I heard her say this, the worst virus in the history of humanity. Obviously, this woman has never heard of smallpox. And I'm just saying. This is what you elect to Congress. You elect morons into Congress. All right, so that's beside the point. My question was really simple. The Democrats want to make a big issue out of the coronavirus pandemic, saying the Trump administration mishandled it. As soon as this man realized there was an issue going on in China, he shut down travel to and fro against the advice of other people. And in case you don't know, or you don't remember, because Americans have short memories, just a few months ago, it was viewed as being racist. And Nancy Pelosi decided to go down to Chinatown and support Chinatown because you had to do that because this president is terrible. Yeah, she goes down to Chinatown with all these people and just has a good time in San Francisco, just spreading the coronavirus. Now, I had it. I actually had corona. It wasn't a big deal for me. I would never have known I was even sick if it wasn't huffing and puffing when I was trying to cut an acre of grass with a push mower. Do I have long-term effects of it? Well, actually, I'm noticing some changes in my fingernails, and the amount that your fingers grow a month coincide with the time when I got the infection. So I got these dips in my nails, all my nails. I got a line across all of them. That's kind of interesting, right? So I don't know if that's an effect of it or not, but I'm just saying. Now, as far as the administration goes, now I made a video on this before I've said anything about it, and there's probably going to be like 4 people who watch it, so it's just hyperbole at this point. What are you going to do when you have a communist government that is coupled with honor culture, who supplies the world with just about everything that it uses, gets a disease they can't control? First of all, they don't even want to admit it. They're going to try to hide it. And what are you going to do? My eyes. Sweat gets in my eyes, and it's the end of it. Well, anyway, they were sending people out that were sick all over the globe. It didn't matter whether they're in China. In case you don't know, China's got its tentacles everywhere. They're in the Caribbean. They're in Africa. They're clashing with the Indians over on the Indian border with China now. China has a long-term plan. They're in for the long game. That's, that President Xi is going to be president for life. That's what communists do, right? There's also about 2 billion of them. Do you think they give a damn how many people die there? They don't care. It reduces their surplus population. They really don't care. But it's in their best interest to infect the United States. Now, was it a manufactured virus? Was it done deliberately? I believe it was. But that's just my thoughts. They'll never admit to it. The Chinese will never admit to it. And I don't think our government will ever admit to it either if they did. But we're not the only country suffering with this. It's in Peru. It's in Argentina. It's in every country in the world. What are you going to do? It's just like the flu at this point. The flu is all over the world. In every country. And people die from it every year. It's not going away. there's no guarantee a vaccine is going to work. I read something the other day that they're hoping for a 50% inoculation rate, effective rate, I should say. So everybody gets inoculated, and they're hoping it reduces it by 50%. That's no different than the flu, and we still get the flu. So Corona is here to stay. It's not going away. It's not going away. This is something that's going to be with us forever. Do you understand this? Forever. So we're still under lockdown. Businesses are still shut down. Parents are freaking out because they don't want to let kids go to school. Well, when are you going to let them? So the point is, how did you want the Trump administration to handle this? Now, I'm not talking to the buffoon who doesn't have any understanding of anything, who hears this. If you are a intelligent human being, how do you expect the government to react to this? Lock everybody up? Quarantine them in a house? Lock people up? You want to do what China did, where they just locked people in their homes? They were shooting people too, if you don't realize that, shooting and killing people. Is that what you wanted the government to do? Well, what kind of response do you think the Democrats would have had? Seriously. And I will go into this real quickly. I remember when the AIDS epidemic was killing all kinds of celebrities. And they jumped over Ronald Reagan for not doing anything about it. But what they did is they treated AIDS as it was more of a social issue than an actual disease. So they downplayed it, even though it was in the news every damn day. They downplayed the hell out of it. And it was spreading in the gay community like wildfire. I mean, it was going. And they didn't want the stigma placed that it was. At one time they called it the gay cancer. So I want you to understand this. They mitigated how they treated the AIDS epidemic based on a social group, because they didn't want the social group persecuted because of the disease. And that's the truth. I hate to tell you this, but that's the truth. So how do you think the Trump administration was supposed to mitigate and respond to this worldwide pandemic? The most dangerous virus that ever happened to mankind. Stupid. Just so stupid. Look, don't support these people that get put in office that demonstrate this kind of foolishness. This is not a gaffe. This is somebody that doesn't have an understanding, doesn't know anything about history, period. As somebody says that. It's like this black congressman from North Carolina, and I'm not going to call this guy out because I don't know what his name is. He's from either Georgia or North Carolina or South Carolina, who thought the island of Guam would tip over if there's too many people on it. You can look it up. You can find the video on YouTube. He actually believed this. Who elects somebody like that? But he's still in Congress. So how did you think the Trump administration was supposed to mitigate a disease like this? What was he supposed to do? Outside of shut down traffic, reduce immigration, and stop people from coming and going. If we had a really horrible epidemic, like let's say it was smallpox. Let's say it was smallpox. Let's say it was weaponized smallpox. If you don't know what weaponized smallpox would do, I don't think you have an understanding of anything viral. How do you think the government would deal with that? Let me tell you how the government would deal with that, and I will use one word. It's called draconian. Just one word, draconian. Biden and Harris came out the other day, didn't make any questions. They came out. Joe Biden comes out and says, I would issue a federal mask mandate. The federal government would force you to wear a mask. Now, I don't know how they're going to enforce that, how they're going to arrest people for not wearing masks. And then what happens is you end up like a communist country where your neighbors are snitching on you. What are they going to do? Force you to wear those masks in the house? And I'm going to tell you something. I wore that damn mask. I washed my hands. Bottle of alcohol. I still caught that damn disease. So you tell me. You tell me if masks are effective. Because I don't think they're effective at all. Because I don't think it makes a damn difference. I'm going to tell you why. They may not let you into a building without a mask on. But when you walk out that building, you touch that handle. You push that door, right? I could have been rubbing my nose, licking my fingers. I could have been coughing on them. Did anybody follow me out? Wipe that handle down? No. And I'm in a lot of places every single day that are locked down and not letting people in, limiting people coming and going. I had to go into a dentist's office. They're making all the dental people outside wait. But I walk in because the doors are open. I drop down a box. Got the mask on. They won't let you in without a mask and all that. But I have to touch the door. Think about disease and how disease is spread. And think about people and cleanliness. It's here. What did you want the Trump administration to do? The clamp. Look, it was bad enough. I think they should have said, to hell, we'll try to deal with it, lock down the nursing homes and people are vulnerable. That's what I would have done. I would have done that, and I would have let businesses decide if they want to stay open or not, let them mitigate what they want to do. Because I dealt with some businesses that closed down their businesses before the government did. So some places I know of have been shut down since May, and everybody's been at home. Since March. So before this stuff actually got really, really bad. So the point of it is real simple. What do you want them to do? What do you want them to get draconian? This is what's interesting about it. The Democrats can get draconian and everybody will be happy with it and not criticize them for it and saying, it was a proper response. But the Trump administration allows states to mitigate their own issues versus the federal government, and he doesn't handle it correctly. See, there's me rubbing my nose and touching my handles. Spreading germs, just like an organism should. So that's really the issue. How do you think the Trump administration should have handled the coronavirus pandemic? And ultimately, when it comes down to this, it just comes down to one thing. China is responsible for unleashing this on the entire world. And it's not going to be the last time that some disease comes out of China that is going to ransack the world. Mark my words, and I want you to remember this, that there's going to be more stuff coming out of that disgusting, filthy culture that's going to infect the rest of the globe. And they are going to respond in the same way. Because the long game of China is to supplant the United States as the world's dominant power. They want to do that. And the best way to take us out is to cause social strife, to cause social division, and to make sure that you get somebody in power in the United States Oval Office, and that you make sure that the ruling people in the United States are sympathetic to the Chinese. That's what you want. The Chinese don't want to rule the world in the sense of like Russia did, where it had de facto countries that aligned itself with Russia, in a sense where they established communist governments around it. The Chinese don't want that. They don't want that. But they want sympathizers, and they want people that are friendly to them in office so they can do the stuff they've always done, like flood our markets with cheap products, poisonous products, all kinds of the stuff that you love to buy and don't want to spend the money on it. You want to buy the cheap shit because you don't want to, you may not remember after 9/11 and we destroyed Iraq, the Chinese flooded the market with cheap drywall, toxic drywall that all had to be ripped out and replaced. China is terrible for this kind of stuff. They don't change. Nothing changes with them. They hide it better. When are we, as Americans, going to open our eyes and stop voting, in a sense, with it? You know what I'm talking about. I'm going to do a Joe Biden here. You know the thing. Stop it with this stuff. Just have an understanding that Corona's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. Learn how to deal with it. And if you think the Trump administration should have been draconian about it, please vote for Biden. please. We need Biden in the White House because he ain't going to be there much long. He's going to end up leaving, and Kamala is going to be the president. It's great, fantastic. See, if you really think that this is the Trump administration mishandled something like this, then you obviously go with the people you think is going to be able to handle the next one, because the next one is not going to be mild. The next one is not going to be like this. The next one is good. The next thing that comes out of there is going to be so super toxic, it's going to be something like out of a sci-fi movie. I promise you, the next one that comes out of China is going to be like something out of a sci-fi movie. Because this corona thing is nothing compared to what is coming. Just remember that.